Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have John Charles Wilker on the line, and he's a founder of the Simplest Biz. John, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here. Very much.
All right,
so.
John. Hey, so I'm excited to get into your company, the Simplest Biz. I took a look at the website. I think what you're doing is really interesting, and then the fact that you're also helping others to also do the same. I think that it's a great story, and I'm happy to bring that to my audience. But just to get us kicked off, I'll start this interview the way we start them all with our Mission Matters Minute. So, John, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's our mission. John, what mission matters to you?
For the longest time and about this business that we'll be discussing, I kept it under my hat. And it was my little secret. And family knew about it, a couple friends, and all that. But through circumstances, I realized I could teach a lot of other people how to duplicate what I've been doing. So my mission at this point is to help as many people get away with what I've been getting away with for the last 24 years, as far as this business model goes. So that's my mission at the moment. And to watch that happen is a pure joy, because I never imagined, one, I'd be teaching people how to duplicate the business model we'll be talking about. But two, to see the success that comes from it, it tears me up. And I want to help as many people do the same thing.
That's awesome. And so kind of going further into the topic, so I think, when it comes to thinking outside the norm and really thinking about work ethic and what it takes to build a business, I mean, you've been in business for a long time, over,
Yes.
over 2 decades. I mean, tell us a little bit more about your thoughts on that.
Yes, I think the main thing, if I look back on what provided the success that I've had doing this, is each day I wake up, and I've done this for years. You can't do it in a day, but each day I wake up and I see what issue or problem I'm having that day, and I try to find a permanent solution for it. And then the next day there'll be another issue and another one and another one. And try to solve problems permanently where you don't have the end result is you have more time freedom when you find the right solutions. So that's been my strategy as far as business goes. That's helped me tremendously.
That's awesome. Let's go further into the Simplest Biz. So tell us more about maybe how you got the idea for this, and let's go further in that direction.
There's a history. The Simplest Biz, just to let everyone know, it's not a very sexy sounding business. It's a wooden pallet recycling business where I don't have a pallet yard. I don't have a warehouse. I don't have employees. I have suppliers of thousands of pallets, right? And these companies don't know what to do with them, and they're giving them to me for free, right? And I'm going down the road a few blocks to the other businesses that need these week after week after week, month after month after month, year after year. So at this point in my career as a pallet business owner, I'm basically an Uber driver for pallets, but I don't have one passenger in my back seat. I have 120, and they're each paying me $6-7 each to take them 3 blocks down the road, and they don't throw up in my back seat at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh, that's a great analogy. I was just thinking about it, like, that's awesome.
And they'll be there next week, and they'll be there next week as well. That soon, those 120 passengers, and they'll be loaded onto my truck. I'm not lifting this stuff. I'm not repairing them. They're just being loaded on my truck, and I'm taking them down the road 3 blocks to the business that needs them, write out the invoice, and repeat, and then take the rest of the day off.
Wow, what a story! And now you decided to take that model and then to teach other people how to do it. So tell me a little bit more about what led you down that route.
Well, like I said earlier, it was my little secret for the longest time. A friend of mine way back in '98 introduced me to this, and we were doing it all wrong back then. But, I had to figure out who the businesses were and what problems they had and who were the suppliers and how to get exclusivity for these supplies of pallets, and then how to broker them, and then also how to incorporate other items into the business like wire spools and corrugated boxes and crates and dunnage and 55-gallon drums and industrial bags, because there's a whole swath of those items that the same businesses that are buying pallets from me need as well. So way back about 4.5 years ago, after I've kind of kept it my little secret for all these years, a friend of mine came over on other business. I get a lot of free time with this particular business model because I get done around 10 o'clock in the morning, and I have other business that I attend to as well, in addition to the pallets. Well, he was coming over on some other business, and I went, oh, crap, I have a few pallet runs I got to do. And he goes, what are you talking about? I'd never told him about it. And I said, well, come right along with me. I'll show you. And he rode around in about 2 hours or so, a little 2 hours, 20 minutes. We pulled in about $2,000, $1,900-something bucks. And the moment that it took place, where he turned in the seat after we were done in the truck, and he looked at me, he said, this is brilliant. Will you teach me how to do it? And that's when I'll have a light bulb moment. And I said to myself, I need to teach a lot of people how to do this.
Wow.
So that started my journey of going out there for 4 months and recording every aspect of the business out in the field. So when I teach people, it's an online course, and it's video based, but there's a lot of materials that go along with each video where they can see what I see, do what I do, say what I say, go where I'm telling them to go, and set these deals up so you can get to that point where you're just picking up and delivering. You got to have that front end, though, where you're learning all the strategies of how to help these businesses out the right way, and the logistics of it and all this come into play that I lay out in the training. It's a 14-module course, and I also have a private Facebook group for ongoing support as well. So it was so different teaching, and the internet that came into play.
Yeah.
Trying to tell people about this compared to the pallet business, it's so much harder. With the tools and the algorithms and everything you have to know about the internet was a whole new nut to crack for me to figure out. But fortunately, I had the free time, which this business supplies me, to figure it out.
What a great story. And I looked at your website, the Simplest Biz for you.com, and it's great. Like your YouTube videos on there and just the proof. And it looks to me like you built a community around this thing. Like I see all these pictures of these people with like a trailer full of pallets. They're doing this or that. Like, tell me a little bit more about the community aspect that's come from this
I
thing.
got to say, I have students now, and I never envisioned this when I started,
It's amazing. It's amazing.
First of all, I was just like, who's going to get this? Because it is out of left field, but it's so, it's such a really fun, cool business because we don't have the overhead. We're getting everything for free, 95% of it at least, and we can broker and all, and we don't have the headaches of a normal business, right? We're not stuck in a cubicle. So I have students now in 14 different countries, and that private Facebook group, it was probably the smartest thing I did in addition to the training, because now all the students that are participating and take the training are in that group, and they're adding to the database of information that I'd already had in the course, right? So you have this, and the motivation and the new strategies. I have some very smart students out there too.
You get to learn from them, and you all move forward together. That's the whole point of a community. It's amazing.
Yeah, and then what's happened, it's morphed into like a marketplace as well, where students help each other out with deals. If you're just starting out today, as an example, and you get a buyer your first day based on the strategy and the training, but you don't have a supplier yet, well, guess what? Jump in the Facebook group. There may be another student in your area, and you guys work deals out together. Happens all the time. So there's a lot of videos posted inside that group with students that have joined forces for a while and are working a deal out, and they're sharing it, and there's a lot. It's like family in there. It's really cool.
I have to read one of these because it just looks so cool, man. I wish, like, it just looks cool. Like, it's like you're out there hunting to me. This guy, I'm reading right off of your site. So it looks like I found some suppliers, one being a company that has 2,000 pallets on hand now, and he just wants gone, read, free. I'm like, man, if I was in that Facebook group and I was never, I'm there. Like, it's just interesting. If you have the other side of it, you're like, we're about to make some money. That's just so awesome. I feel like when I'm driving down the road, or like anybody that listens to this, you see a pallet down the road on the side, you're going to be thinking about a little bit different. That's gold over there, isn't it, John?
Yeah. Let me give you a couple stats on it, and I've said this before on my videos on my channel on YouTube, but the Simplest Biz channel. But something you need to understand: 85% of all commerce in the world is moved on pallets, right? So it's the one thing that touches everything. So with the internet as well, that's exploded. If you think about Long Beach and all those boxes or whatever you call them out there, they're all full of pallets, right? And every truck you see is full of pallets. So that's one stat. There's 2.5 billion pallets circulating in the United States in 2021. There was only 2 billion in 2020. So a 500 million pallet increase in 1 year, right? And then in addition to that, 65% of all lumber produced on a yearly basis is either used to build pallets or repair pallets.
Wow.
That's a lot of trees.
That is.
So it's massive. It's absolutely massive. And we are the middlemen that, one, kind of help the environment, you know, for environmentally conscious people out there. We're moving stuff from point A to point B, lightly used pallets. But we have brokering as well, where we're making passive income as far as that goes. So it's so unseen, unsexy, innocuous. No one pays attention to it. But I guarantee anybody who listens to this podcast, keep your eyes open for the next couple of days, because you're going to start seeing them everywhere.
Oh, that's amazing. So John, I'll tell you, man, this has been a great interview, and getting to know more about your business model, and also, I mean, the Facebook group. You got a lot going on, and your website's awesome. Talk about the content, and if somebody's listening to this and they want to connect and they want to learn more, like, what's the best way for them to follow the journey, to get involved? Like, tell us more about that.
Yeah, go to thesimplestbiz.com. Or you could go to thepalletcourse.com. And what it's going to take you to is an opt-in form and some interviews with my students. Do a lot of case studies on that page, so you can look at that, fill out the form, and then I'm going to actually, send you some emails right away for you to do some more due diligence. That due diligence is going to get you to a point where you might have some questions. And on everything I send you, there'll be an opportunity for you to book an appointment. And it's not a sales call. It's just we like to answer your questions, so you have clarity of what is going on when you before you even start to do this yourself. So we're really big on making sure you have an understanding of what this is and what the potential is and how it can fit into your life, or if it can. Because some people, it's not for everybody. So, we've been known to talk people out of it if it's not for them. So that's the journey that they will go on once they go to thesimplestbiz.com.
Man, what a great story. Well, and your YouTube channel, what's that? Yeah, so people can check that out as well. Yeah, because your videos are awesome.
Yes, if you go to YouTube and type in The Simplest Biz in John Charles Wilker, it'll pop up. And there's 100, and this is not how to do the business, but what it is, interviews with students, me out in the field actually moving stuff from point A to point B. So there's 140 videos on there for trying to answer just about any question you can think of about this business for you.
Man, great story. Well, John, really appreciate you coming on the show and sharing more about your background and all the great work you're doing for yourself and for your students, man. You've been blessed, and you're being a blessing out there in the marketplace, and that's exactly the type of individuals we like bringing on Mission Matters. And to the audience that's tuning in, Hope you got a lot of value out of this. I know I sure did, connecting with John. If you did, and this is your first time with Mission Matters, we're a platform that's all about bringing on entrepreneurs, executives, and experts and having them share their mission, their businesses, like what gets them motivated, what gets them up and every morning and fired up to go out there and make a difference in the world and in the marketplace. So if that's the kind of content you're into, we have many, many more mission-based individuals coming on the line, and we don't want you to miss a thing, so definitely hit that subscribe button. And John, should I call you the Pallet King? I don't know, man, but it was great having you on the show.
That's fun. That was the first name of my business, was Pallet King, back in 1998 when I had to think up a name. So, yes, you can call me that.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. And, again, thanks for coming on.
You too. Thank you very much, Adam.
All right, John. So we'll cut the audio there. Come on, man. That's such a great story. I love it. It's such an amazing thing.
I wanted to figure out a way where I did not have to work for the man. And I had experiences early on where I was tormented by working for someone else. So I finally found something that made sense to me. And
how cool is the Facebook community thing? It's so cool. Like, I know you must get so much pride out of watching your students get a win and just being like, oh, come on, that's awesome. Like, and
I'm dumbfounded.
You're providing opportunity out there, man. It's awesome.
I had a student text me about a couple of weeks ago, and I knew he was doing well, but they kept on growing and growing. He's doing $500,000 a month.
Wow.
Now he's gotten into custom builds and stuff like that, but and I had a student who started. I talked to him. He called me up yesterday. I recorded the conversation smartly for marketing purposes, but he started his first person he handed a card to back on December 29th. Ended up being this huge deal, and he brokered it. He's making $1,700 per load. The first 2 days he did 13 loads. He's had $100,000 circulate through his account since December 29th.
Oh my gosh! Come on,
just crazy, man. It's just like, my God, my mother's up there pulling strings that I have no idea what the heck she's doing, but go for it. She's passed away, so I imagine that's because.
Absolutely, man. That's a great story. Well, so next steps on my end, just so you know, my team's pretty fast on all this stuff, so they'll have this live and distributed. I would argue within the next 10 business days or so. You'll get an email from my team, and if you need anything else, just hit the reply button. We're here. Okay.
All right, Adam. Enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Have a great week. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.